Think of it like this. There's a few guys, Eddie being one of them. He pioneered a new path, much like Michael Jordan pioneered a new path.
Yeah.
And so when you're pioneering a new path, weird shit's going to happen. But the pioneer or the leader, that's why they're leaders, because they're willing to do the shit that most people won't do. And in a case like Eddie's, he was willing to do the shit. He also had some genetic gifts, and he just, to do what he did, there's got to be a lot of things in line. He was his posterior chain, he was known for his posterior chain, which is all the muscles for the deadlift.
Yes.
And he's a monster overhead presser. So he's arguably like one of the strongest men ever on the planet, because at one point he held, forgive me, I believe at one point he held the record for overhead press and for deadlift, which means the guy that could pick the most shit off the ground and the guy that can put the most shit over his head. That's
incredible.
So, and the cool thing about Eddie is just a character, man. People love him because he's full of energy. He's full of really clever. He's just one of those guys that, because a sport like Strongman, of course, it's cultish and everybody wants the sport to grow. That's what we all want. And a guy like Eddie came along and because he's from the UK, he was boom, they're big over there in terms of Strongman. He was on McDonald's commercials and all sorts of shit. So it was really good for the growth of the sport, because he's that guy that could put the camera on and he's going to entertain people. And so these smaller sports need guys like that to bring more eyeballs to it. And Eddie did a phenomenal job of that.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny, we've talked before. You and Marty have talked in the past on the show, especially on the gym segment. In the gym coming up in a half an hour, actually, John and Marty, the only place you're going to get these two guys in the gym. We've talked about eccentric training before. John, what does eccentric training look like for somebody who's focusing on tendon health? Because we know with strength, you got muscles and you got tendons, and Eddie has stronger tendons than most. Are there particular exercises that somebody like yourself or Marty or an athlete would be doing that would focus as much on our tendon health more so than our muscle strength, Johnny? Like, what kind of exercises would you be doing for that?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that, because that's what it's the type of question most people would ask. And what you got to understand is this: bone density, tendon strength, and even growing world-class strength. There's exercises, but you're doing complete training for that, for your focus.